Starting the warm up with side lunges, we'll start on the right side first. You'll step back in and out to the left. Toes are out slightly on a diagonal. Knees track over the middle of the foot. You want to keep the knee behind the toes to protect it. We're going to move to squats, feet about hips distance or a little wider, sitting back and pushing up. Knees again stay behind your toes, and your belly is braced. Chest stays lifted. Arms usually come out in front, but just comfortable. A little faster. Push on the way up. 4, 3, 2. Then we'll start marching. Just right side, right, left. Start picking it up into a little bit of a jog. Choosing your option. Beginners, keep your feet low or just a march. Advanced, bring your heels maybe halfway up. Advanced, heels to the butt. Getting our heart rates up. Then we're going to move into jumping jacks. You can do jumping jacks a variety of ways. Beginners could just simply step out to the side. Intermediate, full jack. And advanced, go into a squat with more of a push. Lots of options in jumping jacks. All right, that ends our warm-up. We're gonna move around. You can get a drink of water, and then we're gonna go into the squat series. We're gonna do a few different types of squats. The first safety things are that your hips should be behind your knees. Your knees should be behind your toes. So if you can think about it, get your junk in the trunk. Arms can come up in front, but just make sure they're comfortable. You notice some of us have our arms close to our chest, some of us push our hands out a bit. The thing with squats is that you don't have to go down very far. Beginners should stay a little bit higher. Intermediate, go halfway down. And the furthest you want to go down is where your knees are about 90 degrees, or like you're sitting in a chair. Now we're going to come into a wide squat. So we take our heel toe and step it out to the side. Again, knees track over the middle of the foot so that you should always be able to see your big toe. Down and up. Okay, pretty soon we're going to change tempos. Down and hold. You hold, you squeeze, and you push and squeeze on the way up. Down and hold. And push up. Now we're going to go back to the narrow stance, but add a calf raise. So we go down, up, and lift, and back down. You can play with the position of the arms. You're going to squat and then lift the heels. It's okay to pause after the squat before going into the calf raise. Squat, lift, and down. Adding the calf raise just makes the squat feel a little differently. We're going to shake it out. We're going to move back into the wide squat a little faster. We go down and up and down and up. You want to squeeze your legs on the way up. Belly should be tight the whole time, and your chest should be lifted so that we're also working good posture. Slowing them down, 3, 2, now slow up, 4, 3, 2, and up, slow. Notice that our feet are wide and our knees stay behind our toes. In the beginner version, you don't have to come down very far. If you look at the beginner in the very back, she's going very slowly, knees behind her toes, and that's where we get really good work. Adding the calf raise to the wide squat, we go down, up, lift, and back. Squat, center, lift, and back. Squat, center, lift, and back. Squat, center, lift. So we're working different parts of our legs here. First we work thighs, hamstrings, and our butt, then our calves. A little faster. Squat, center, lift, and back. Squat, center, lift, and back. Squat, center, lift, and back. Good. Knees stay behind the toes. And we find our balance before we go to the calf raise. Okay, we're gonna shake it out a little bit. All right, cardio burst, we're gonna move more. You can keep it at a march, maybe lifting your knees a little bit. You can take it to a little jog. You can take it high up, high knees with fast feet. 30 seconds to move more. We want your heart rate up. We want to get you a little bit out of breath, but not to the point where you're feeling dizzy or feeling unsteady. Just a few more seconds, looking good, go, go, go. All right, get some water, walk around, but keep your head above your heart. Just walk around, move a little bit, and then we're gonna go into our lunge sequence. Starting with our right leg forward, we're gonna come down into a lunge. Now the way you figure out your lunge position is if you're kneeling down on the floor, both knees are at 90 degrees. You stand up from there and find your position. Your hands can stay in your hips, and your feet should be fairly wide. And your feet should be about hips distance apart. Down, down, and up, and up. Chest should stay lifted. With the beginners, you don't go down as far, but you want to make sure that your back foot isn't too close. So if you look at the advanced option on the far right, notice how wide her feet are. It's a great position. We're going to change sides. Down, down, and up. Down, down, and up. We want to keep our chest lifted. It's really easy for us to lean forward, but this puts a little more stress on our knee, and we also want to work the posture muscles on our back, so we want to stay upright. Both feet should be pointed forward, and the back heel should come off the ground. Notice that the knee again stays behind the toes. Okay, we're gonna move out to the side lunge. So we come out to the side and back in, same side and back in. Notice in the center of your screen, the intermediate with the light green shirt, watch her knee, and it stays pretty much above her ankle. That's the great position for the lower body. We lean out. One more. We'll step in and change sides. Again, belly still tight, shoulders lifted. We want to see our big toe as we lean left and step in. Leaning down, pushing up. Again, look at the knee position. You squeeze on the way up. Okay, we're gonna step in. We're gonna do a backward lunge, which right now looks the exact same as a forward lunge. In a little bit, we'll be adding stepping movement into these lunges. So again, we come down and back up. Okay, we're gonna step forward and change sides, and then we're gonna add the movement to this. So just look, both toes pointing forward, sliding down, and pushing up through the heel and the ball of your foot. Okay, we're gonna step in. We're gonna add some movement. We're gonna step forward and back Right side comes forward, down, up, and back. Now we'll change sides. All right, forward, down, back, and in. Go out, down, back, and in. Out, down, back, and in. Forward, down, back, and in. Out, down, back, and in. You don't have to go down very far again. The farther down you go, the harder it gets. This works our thighs, our glutes, our calves, and our whole torso. One more on each side. You can do it. You got it. Here we go. Last one. Then we're going to go to the side, changing it up using our inner outer thighs a bit. Okay, front, side, back lunges. We'll step to the front, to the side, and to the back and back in. Front, side, back, and in. It's hard to get the tempo going to this. So we go out and in, side and in, back and in. Left side, front, side, back. As long as you're moving, it's all good. Front, side, back, and switch. Front, side, center, back, center. Front, center, side, center, back, and center. Front, center, side, center, back, center. Front, center, side, center, back, center. Getting ready for a 30-second cardio burst. These are going to be wacky jacks. You can do any kind of jumping jack you want to do. We're going to finish out our lunges with the big calorie burners. Then we're going to move more and get our heart rates up. Here we go. You can go high knees or you can go half jacks. Choose whatever it is you want, but move more, get your heart rate going. Way to go, you've made it this far. Congratulations. "30 seconds. This is our cardio burst. Go, go, go. All right, you got it. Good. Walk around, get some water, keep your head above your heart. Grab your weights. Moving to the upper body where we can isolate some of the muscles. We want to start with light weights for the front raise. These will be lighter because this is a smaller muscle group. We start at our thighs and come up shoulder height. You don't have to come up to the shoulder, but you certainly don't want to go higher than the shoulder. Keeping a slight bend in the elbow, belly squeeze, shoulders back, and knees slightly bent. We're going to bend our knees, change your weights, and get heavier ones for bicep curls. Bigger muscle groups so you can use more weight. We go all the way down to the thigh and almost all the way to the top. Imagine you're squeezing an orange in your elbow. This keeps the muscle on tension, makes us stronger. The next thing is the lateral raise or the side raise. You can start with your elbows bent and lift them up no higher than the shoulder. If you want a little bit more weight or a little bit harder, you can start to straighten your elbows. Then we move to the upright row. The upright row, we start at our thighs, We end up mid-chest. Elbows go high and wide. Notice the great posture here. Now we're going to add a squat so we can bring in some of the lower body. We squat right to an upright row. It's like you're picking up a bag, starting your lawnmower. Functional activity. You're going to repeat the sequence 3 times. Another option if you want to increase your weight, but you don't feel like you can do it safely, is to go 1 arm at a time. So we separate it out, same movement. Notice you don't even have to have weights. You can use a bottle of water, can of soup, half gallon of milk, anything that you might have available. Great posture, belly in, shoulders back, and nobody's swinging. That's the important thing, is that we isolate the muscle in the shoulder. You do 10 on each side if you can. Somewhere in the 8 to 12 range is where we want to be. Moving into bicep curls, we're going to do a hammer curl. We start with our hands facing our thighs. When we bring up the weight, you're going to twist the arm so it faces you. So there's a little twist in the movement. Usually with alternating the curls, you can go a little bit heavier on the weight. You squeeze at the top and do about 10 on each side. If you get tired, just take a break, grab some water if you need to, and come right back in. Moving into the cardio burst, adding some jogs, high knees, jumping jacks, anything that gets you to move more. You got 15 seconds, you're halfway. Want to get it up, move, move, move. Can add some claps. Get yourself energized. We're going to come down for some floor work to isolate the hips and the core. First thing we're going to do are leg lifts. So you want to set yourself up on the floor with both knees bent and knees in line with the hips so that the body is nice and steady. We're going to start with leg lifts. Now, you want to keep your toes either pointing straight ahead or slightly downward. If your toes start to go to the ceiling, then we've changed the muscles that we're working. So you want to keep your toes pointed forward. Not lifting the leg very high, and we want the ankle to lead the way. Now, notice you can be laying on the ground, or you can come up on the elbow. If you're up on the elbow, you really want to lift up through the ribs and push through the shoulders so that we're working the upper body as well. You're going to feel this kind of in the right outside the thigh, a little bit into the glutes. You'll feel this pretty quick. These are smaller muscles, and we want to isolate them. Next are bridges. We're going to lay on our back and squeeze the backside of our body to come up into a bridge. You can touch down barely or not at all. You want to squeeze your butt on the way up. Keep your belly squeezed the whole time. Your feet should be under your knees or slightly further out. We're going to do another set, and this time we're going to add some movement to the end to challenge our spine stability a little bit more. We have 5, 6, 7, 3 more, 8, 9. Now hold your bridge. Hold, 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 hold. Squeeze your backside. Then you're going to come down, bring your knees to your chest, and kind of rest. Next move is crunches. You can start with your hands across your chest and progress to your elbows out wide. For advanced options, you can lift your heels. The idea is to get your shoulder blades off the mat, but not coming up where there's a lot of rocking. You want to use, again, all muscle, no momentum. Another option is to bring your knees up above your hips. This is just an option. If your elbows are out to the side, we want to keep them way outside. Bicycle crunches, you can start with your feet on the ground or keep them extended. You're crossing elbow to opposite knee, or a better way to think of it is getting your armpit towards your opposite knee. This helps us work the side waist or the oblique muscles. If you want a really good whole body core exercise, we're going to go into what's called a plank or a hover. You can do this on your elbows, you can do this on your hands, you can do it on your knees and on your toes. You squeeze, shoulders away from your ears, and press into your heels, and lift. All right, way to go. Now we're gonna cool it down, sitting back, taking our hips to our heels in child's pose. So stretch out our spine, stretch out our shoulders, you can open your chest. To do a hip flexor stretch, we're gonna take one leg out front, just like we did in lunges, but a little bit wider, and then lean into it. I'm gonna tilt the belly button upward, so put the hip flexor on a little more stretch. We'll come back and we'll change sides. Notice that the knee is still above the ankle, so even in a stretch, we want to be in a good, safe position for our bodies. And hold stretches about as long as 30 seconds. All right, after all those squats and lunges, you want to feel that down the front of your thigh. And take long breaths. Then we're going to shift to standing. Good posture. Just do a few shoulder rolls to loosen up. Going backward a few times. And then we're going to go forward, just to loosen up. You did it. Way to go. It's important to stretch after when we're warm. So we're going to take our arm across our body, keeping our shoulder away from the ear and then drawing it over for a shoulder stretch. And we go to the other side. Yeah. Big sigh of relief. We're going to go into a tricep stretch by taking your hand behind your back, grabbing below your elbow, and sliding the arm across. You want to be sure to stretch both sides and not hold your breath during any stretch. Stretches should never be painful. None of the work we did should be painful in the joints. You might feel the burn in the muscles, but we don't want to feel pain in our elbows, and our shoulders, and our knees. We may want to pull back a little bit. Making sure to stretch both triceps You can lean over to the side if you want to stretch your rib cage a little bit as well. Then we're going to take a hamstring stretch. Now the way we do these standing up is we bring one leg forward, pull the toes back, and then we sit back into the other leg. Our bodies will lean forward slightly, and our belly button drops towards our thighs. It's this change in the pelvis that lets our hamstring stretch. Keeping our backs nice and flat, we'll keep the focus on our legs. Can you hold that for about 30 seconds? And then we'll change sides. If it's more comfortable, feel free to do hamstring stretches laying on your back. You can use a towel or a belt or anything to hold your leg up high. If you're anything like us, you sit a good bit of the day, which means the muscles of our legs need to be stretched so they can stay balanced, comfortable, and keep our spine in good alignment. To stretch the front of the thigh, or we call it a quad stretch, we'll bring our heel towards our tail, grab onto the toe, you can use a chair, and just bring your heel to your tailbone, keeping your knees together. After the quad stretch, you slide over into an IT band stretch, or the iliotibial band. You're going to bring your foot behind the other one, shift the hips out to the side, and then lean away from it. You're going to feel this on the outer edge of the thigh, right up along the crest of the pelvis, or along your hip bone. We all struck our JCPenney pose today, so you can bring your model pose to that stretch as well. We'll go on to the other side into a quad stretch. Again, heel to tail. Sometimes it's tough to balance. Feel free to grab onto a buddy, use the wall, use a chair, anything that you might have. And again, we move into the IT band stretch on this side. So we want our hips to push away. So if your left foot is behind your right side, you're going to push and lean your body to the right so that you push your hip out to the left. Take big, long, deep breaths as you're stretching, getting a lot of breath and a lot of oxygen in. Big stretch, and we come out. We'll finish with a few last breaths. Congratulations. Way to move, way to get up, way to get going. Nice work.